Higher interest rates have changed the game on the real estate market here in the East Bay, and I don't mean just a little bit either. Stay tuned because in this video, I'm keeping it real about what's going on right now with the East Bay housing market and where I see us going with home prices, interest rates, and affordability in the near future. I'm giving you everything you need to know on how to navigate this new market. Let's get started right now. What's going on, guys? This is Mac Rogers. I'm a real estate broker here in the Bay Area. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is the #1 place for everything that you want to know about living, working, eating, chilling, and playing in the East Bay. And if that's the kind of stuff you're into or looking into moving into the East Bay, you know what to do. That's right. Click the like, subscribe button, and the notification bell so that you're notified every time we drop a new video. You can also follow me on Instagram for more lifestyle posts about the East Bay. My team and I were getting calls from people just like you, researching homes and neighborhoods in the East Bay, and we really love sharing our knowledge with you. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a home anywhere in the East Bay, then give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. We'd be happy to help you out. There's a few things that I really want to talk about that's having a major impact on our real estate market right now in terms of where we are, how we got here, and then of course, I got some recommendations on what I think you should do moving forward. First up, let's talk about affordability. Now, there's a lot to unpack with this one, but the long and short of it is that these higher home prices and these higher interest rates are really doing a number on affordability right now. And it's kind of a perfect storm on slowing this market down, if you ask me. So perfect, in fact, that no one knows what to expect. Home prices has really been crazy for the last couple of years, with pretty much every city, every neighborhood in the East Bay seeing appreciation. We're talking about appreciation rates in the 20-30% range in back-to-back years in 2020, 2021, and the first half of 2022. Let's not even forget that prior to those years, we've had several very good years in real estate already. In fact, as early as 2018, people started to wonder if we were in a bubble. This whole thing is due in part to the demand and the competition that we've been seeing from out-of-area home buyers. A majority of these home buyers are coming in from San Francisco, the Peninsula, and Silicon Valley. Looking at relocating to the East Bay because I'm sure, as you already know, the East Bay is a tad less expensive than those areas. It's not only just people relocating that push home values up in where we are today. Lumber prices have been all over the place in the last couple of years, and with the labor shortages and supply chain issues that we're still dealing to this day, home builders simply haven't been able to build homes fast enough for everyone that wants to buy one. This also put a limit to the supply of inventory. I mentioned mortgage rates earlier. You know that mortgage rates have basically doubled from 3% to over 6% over the last few months, thanks in part to this guy's effort to curb inflation. And so some of the people that decided to wait all the craziness of 2020 and 2021, thinking that things will be better, well, they're kind of having sticker shock right now. Really not turning out the way they wanted it. The hopes was that prices will go down so that they can swoop in, and how's that working out for them? They are swooping into higher monthly payments. Back in November of 2021, the median sales price in Alameda County was around $1,050,000. That roughly translated to around $3,600 in monthly payments. This November, that median home sales price went down to $1,025,000, but the monthly payment is up roughly to $5,400. So when you compare that 3% rate versus 6% rate on practically the same price, you are paying $1,800 more for the same house versus last year. Heck, we don't even need to go all the way back to November of 2021. Just the first and second quarter of this year, it was still way cheaper than $5,400. I don't know about you, but this is kind of a big deal. These rate hikes are actually doing what they were designed to do, which is knock people out of the market, make them think twice about borrowing money, and slowing things back down to sustainable levels. Do I think this is the right way of doing it? No, we're not really solving the issue of lack of supply. We're just setting ourselves up for the next failure. The craziness that we've been seeing over the last couple of years, where sellers and builders could basically do whatever they wanted and the buyers just had to take it. And not only take it, but they had to offer up more of their life savings, their firstborn child, and a year free of tacos just to get their offer accepted. That whole situation, it's over. The shift is officially here, and for a lot of people, there's a fair amount of uncertainty about what exactly that means. Let's have a real talk about what the opportunity is right now in this market, what the opportunity might be in the future, and hopefully get some of your questions answered as to whether or not you should be trying to take advantage of what's going on right now. So here's a couple of things I want you to think about as you're making the decision to make a move to the East Bay, or to put your East Bay home for sale and maybe buy something else. So the good news though is that there's so many more options that are starting to become available to you right now. Builders and home sellers, for the longest time, they weren't doing anything. They weren't offering incentives. They weren't doing anything in the way of concessions. And in a lot of cases, we've seen a lot of home sellers actually wait several days, sit on your offer so that they can have more showings and hopefully more offers come in that are going to compete against yours. But if you take a look at what's going on today, we're in what I feel like the beginning stages of something we in the East Bay or in the Bay Area in general haven't had in years. At least not that I can remember in my 20 plus years in real estate. I think the closest that I can think of in terms of situation like this, what we have right now, is back in September 11 of 2001. Right after that devastating event, there was a period of time where no one wanted to do anything. People were so afraid of this external event that they didn't know what to do. Even though it was a seller's market, there were a lot more homes for buyers to look at, and everything wasn't selling with 15 offers over asking in the first 24 hours. Even though historically, the kind of market that we're moving into is what's considered to be normal. It still has a lot of sellers and listing agents freaking out a little bit because they're comparing what's going on right now to what it's been like in the last couple of years. You know, when they had their nose turned up, treating buyers like peasants. But if you're thinking about selling your home, you can still expect to do pretty well. And if you're planning to buy a home in the near future, just know that the balance of power is starting to shift back to something a little bit more even. The reality is that both sides are just not happy with the situation right now. Sellers think that it's the end of the world, and buyers are still waiting for the prices to crash. Builders have also began to pivot in a way because they're saying, okay, demand has slowed down a lot. The traffic in the model homes, it's not quite like they used to be on weekends. So now they're offering more incentives in an effort to get people back through the door again. For the last couple of years, the builder sales reps were limited on the number of homes that they could sell every month. And they had these long wait lists of buyers, like 30, 40 people that they'd randomly draw from the lottery every month just to see who got to go into contract on a home. And if your name wasn't picked, too bad, so sad. You'd have to wait for the next lottery on the first of the following month, which of course was after the price increase across the entire neighborhood. And not only that, sometimes you don't even get your first choice. You had to pick only what's available, or they put you in the back of the line again. But that's just not how it is anymore. Nowadays, my timeline and my inbox are full of new home sales reps posting and emailing about their inventory and all the thousands of dollars that they have to throw at our clients. If you decide to buy a home in their community, and if you're thinking about building a new home with them, new construction, or maybe you're looking for a long-term close, one of the best things people are doing right now is that they're locking in the incentives. They're getting a better deal, and many of these builders right now, they're also offering long-term rate locks on interest rates. So if you're worried about what's going on right now with things starting to shift, will interest rates continue to go up, you know, that sort of thing, many of these builders right now are actually helping buyers out by locking in those long-term rates so that you can get a little bit of certainty down the road in the future. One of the things that I really do love about the market that we're in right now is that you're not going to go crazy over asking price anymore. You're not having to make 20, 30, 40,000 over asking, 100,000 over asking just to get a house. If you think about it from an affordability standpoint, you're keeping a lot more of your money in your pocket because you're not having to compete against nearly as many cash buyers out there. And sellers are still really doing well too. With most of the homes, they're still selling near list price within a few weeks or so. A question that I get all the time is, when is the real estate market finally going to crash? I've seen what a crash looks like, having lived through the 2008 bubble. One of the things that we know that's fundamentally different about what's going on right now compared to back then is that today most people are actually sitting on a ton of equity when it comes to their home. That, and it was actually a lot harder to get a mortgage over the last few years than it was back in the mid-2000s. I can still remember people getting negative amortization mortgages back then, which basically guaranteed that you were in the negative equity position the day that you closed on your home. You also had these 1 or 2 year adjustable rate mortgages with teaser rates in the 1 or 2% range that would then balloon up to like 7 or 8%. That put people in a position of not being able to afford their mortgage payments anymore. Not to mention that most banks cared a lot less about what your credit score looked like back then and was almost encouraged for you to lie about your income on some of these loan products. They didn't have to actually verify how much money you made. This past market, they just weren't like that at all. I mean, if you wanted to buy a home, you actually had to have good credit. You actually had to have money to put down and to be able to compete with these other buyers out there. And if you were one of the people out there lucky enough to get your offer accepted, chances are you're sitting on one of those 2 or 3% interest rates right now. And if you look back in history, that almost never happens. So I'm not exactly holding my breath that we're going to see those things happen again. So if you're still one of those out there that's holding your breath and waiting for the market to crash, then you should probably stop before you pass out. One of the things to consider if you're thinking about buying or building a home with a builder right now is that if you're looking at a long enough time horizon, and for most people, we tell them that's at least 5 to 7 years, then it really makes sense, or a lot more sense, for you to become a homeowner. It doesn't really matter if the market goes up and then it goes down and then it goes back up again. To use a stock analogy, this is not like GameStop, wherein people were just piling on a company that wasn't fundamentally sound. Buying a house is one of the safest investment you can do. My team and I, we've been talking to buyers that just feel really uncertain about what's going on right now with rental rates, what's going on with home prices, which are still going up, by the way, and also what's going on with interest rates. Because they're kind of just all over the place right now. If you're thinking about buying a home and flipping it in a year, or if you move all the time and this is like your 10th or 15th time buying a house, then maybe you should rent for now. Or maybe you should take some time to wait it out and see what happens. But if you're able to lock in today and you're able to get a home that you love and your time horizon is a little bit further out, that 5 to 7 years or more that we talked about, then get some certainty in your life. I mean, that's the way that I look at it. If you're not going anywhere and you want to settle down and make the East Bay your home base, then settle down and make it happen. Worst case scenario, if your plans do end up changing and you had to move a lot sooner than expected, you turn it into a good, sound, long-term investment. After all, the Bay Area is still a place where people want to live. Okay, so we're wrapping up this video. If you're unsure about what to do right now in terms of moving or not moving, and you're really just looking for a good resource to lean into, well, that's what my team and I are here for. We're not just here to sell you a house. We're actually just here to help you make a good buying decision. And we're getting calls from people just like you every day that are researching homes and neighborhoods in the East Bay. So if you're thinking about buying a home or selling a home anywhere in the East Bay area, then give us a call, shoot us a text message, or send us an email. We'd love to help you out.